Hey, what's up?
How's it going, my friend?
Good. Glad to see you too.
Good to see you.
Good to see you all again.
Saludos amigos, KASH here, President and CEO of Real Estate and Terrenas.com. Hey guys, today is a special day for two reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. One is we're doing our third episode of our Docuseries about buying real estate here in the Dominican Republic.
Yep.
Okay.
And there's another reason because yesterday we celebrated our 95th anniversary here in Guzman Ariza. So this firm, which was founded by that man you see right there, Mr. Antonio Guzman, just turned 95 years yesterday. So we're happy and celebrating because of that as well.
Congratulations, that's a massive accomplishment.
Thank you.
Good for you guys. 95 years, guys. I don't know too many law firms in my hometown of Windsor that are 95 years. So that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Guys, I think that helps give you a little bit of scale and scope of how big Guzman Ariza is and how credible this law firm is. There's 8 offices throughout the country, soon to be 9 maybe.
Soon to be 9
and,
this year.
What is it, about 80 attorneys?
No, close to 60, 58. Yeah.
58, close to 60 attorneys. And right now we are standing here in the Las Terrenas office in the main lobby. Hopefully one of you guys decides to invest like I have here in Las Terrenas. And this will be the office that I'm going to bring you to. Okay, I'm going to bring you right here. You're going to meet with the front reception. You're going to be meeting with this fine young gentleman, and you're going to get exposed to this entire experience, this entire office, and everything that happens here in Las Terrenas when you buy real estate in Las Terrenas. Correct?
Looking forward to see you all here.
So I'm going to explain to you what we're going to be talking about today in our third episode.
Yep. We're going to be talking diligence process, performing due diligence in the real estate transaction. And
all right, guys, stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to our third episode here with our legal expert, Vladimir Alonso, Senior Counsel with Guzman Ariza. We are in the third episode of our docuseries, which is going to be running, which is a 10-part docuseries. One thing I want to talk about really quick before we get into this is the Guzman Ariza has a published legal guide, okay? They have a published legal guide that is available for all of their clients.
For free.
For free, for all of my clients, for all of their clients, okay? And this is a legal guide to investing in the Dominican Republic. We are going to be diving deep into all of these topics that are here. Nevertheless, this is a good resource to have. You have access to this on their website. You also have access to it via myself or via Vladimir. It is in English and in Spanish as well.
It's even in Chinese.
It's even in Chinese, okay? So
it's translated to 14 languages.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So whether you speak Italian, German, Russian, whatever,
we got you covered.
We got it available for you.
We got you covered.
Yeah.
So that was just something I wanted to talk about really quick before we got started. And then again, congratulations on 95 years.
Thank you. We're so proud to achieve that.
Yeah, I'm so proud of the fact that I have such a strong working relationship with such an amazing law firm.
Yeah, so we're happy to have a strong relationship and a friendship with you as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It really means the world to me. I really do appreciate that. And my clients are going to experience the same thing. You guys are not just a law firm. You are friends. All clients become friends, and you really take care of them. And I've seen that, and I appreciate that. So a quick recap, I'm only going to take 30 seconds on this and then we dive right in. So guys, if you didn't see the first 2 episodes, it was an intro. You got to know Vlad and myself. I'm one of the top brokers here in Las Terrenas. I'm a boutique firm, very focused in pre-construction. However, we are spread across the board, luxury, land, all elements. We've really tuned in there. So that's an intro. Obviously, you're getting to know Vlad. Part 2, we covered promise of sale and reservations. That's the first phase. Part 3, which we're doing today, is going to be performing due diligences. And Vlad is going to be diving deep into 3 critical elements. One is the legal due diligence, the tax due diligence, and company verifications if the land or property is owned by a corporation. Okay, then really quick, part 4, how to buy real estate in Las Terrenas without stepping foot in the country. That'll be our part 4. Okay, part 5, pre-post closing procedures. Part 6, actual closing procedures that happen on closing day. Okay, he'll give you a really good feel for exactly what it's going to feel like the day you're here signing papers and closing. Okay, part 7, should you buy in your personal name, LLC, or a trust from a foreign country? Okay, part 8, Confiture. We're really going to dive into that one deep when we hit that section, part 8, Confiture section 158-01. That is an important tax advantage that's available to foreign investors. Part 9, costs associated with buying or selling real estate here in Las Terrenas, Dominican Republic. And part 10 is going to be our big secret. We're going to be doing a special live event somewhere here in Las Terrenas. We haven't released that information yet, but it's going to be a cool event. We're going to have dinner, we're going to have drinks, we're going to do a live stream, we're going to be live Q&A session. So when we give you that date, hop on a plane and come down here because it's going to be an event. We're going to have DJs, we're going to have the whole thing. It's going to be all day and night.
I'm looking forward for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's dive into this because we got a busy day. It is around 10 in the morning. We met at 9 and we're going to bang this video up for you.
Right.
Let's dive in.
So let's go and immediately speak about the due diligence process.
Explain what you mean by due diligence.
Right. Okay. Due diligence is what the process that we perform in order to make sure that the buyer is having a safe purchase.
Got it.
And that means, for example, verifying the property certificate of title and making sure that the title is clean, that it doesn't have any mortgages, taxes, litigations, or any other kind of third-party rights. I'm going to tell you detailedly all the steps that we do, but in principle, the due diligence is basically the process that we, as your attorneys, will perform on your behalf to make sure that you are making a safe purchase. Because we understand how serious it is for most of you guys to come here and invest hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in a dream, in a property here in paradise. So
in a foreign country.
Exactly. In a country that perhaps you're coming here to invest for the first time and you might be kind of hesitating. So this is why performing this process and doing it properly is a must in any time that you are making an investment or a purchase, because we take very serious the responsibility that you guys put in our hands every time you come here to invest in a property, and so we have to respond to that accordingly. Performing this process, making the due diligence, and as I said, making sure that you all have a safe purchase, and telling you if we find out something in the property that we believe that this transaction is risky or not.
Let me ask you a question on that note. So when you perform the due diligence, how many times, we'll talk about single family home, but we'll talk about pre-construction first. In the pre-construction, as many of you do with me, as you know, I would like to say I'm the expert here in pre-construction related to those kind of projects in Las Terrenas. When do you perform the due diligence when it comes to pre-construction? From my understanding, you do it multiple times, if you can explain that to them.
Yeah, well, the first part, the pre-construction, it requires that we perform the due diligence multiple times, because I know that that is what you specialize on. What happens is the following. It's a long-term agreement, and at the beginning, usually when you sign your contract with the payment schedule, and all the general terms of the transaction, we have to perform the due diligence there, because it usually triggers a payment of something between 15 to 30% of the purchase price with the signature of this contract. So before we get to that point, we want to make sure at that
point. Which we discussed in part 2, promise of sale.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Refer to that video if you didn't see that yet.
From the very beginning, since that the signature of the contract, which as Kash said, we discussed in the previous video, then we have to make sure before we make that payment that everything is correct and that the title is clean. But why do we say that we perform the due diligence multiple times when it comes to pre-construction? Because, for example, we don't know if you're purchasing with a developer that we perform due diligence, everything looks correct, but sometime in the middle of the transaction, the seller didn't spend the money properly, or needs to get a mortgage or a loan or something to figure out how to finish the project, which, by the way, it's kind of unlikely to happen because Las Terrenas is a small town. We know everyone here, and we select very well who we work with. Exactly. So KASH is very unlikely to take you to someone that will something like that, but still, we will have to do that.
Nevertheless,
exactly. We will still do it, because that is how we make sure that things are maintained as they were initially. Correct. But also we perform it in a third time before the delivery of the unit. Because again, at the beginning we could make the title verification, make sure that everything is correct, but usually pre-construction agreements are what?
Let's say
1 year, a year and a half, 2 years, and a lot can happen during that period.
Correct.
So it is something that we have to do constantly, all the way through the process. Unlike in a property that is already built, in that case we will perform the due diligence perhaps only one, because it will be a cash deal.
Correct.
It will be something like, okay, I like this apartment, this house is built, we perform due diligence, everything is correct, we close, you get the possession, you pay.
So just to make sure these guys understand what you're saying there, so there is a difference in the pre-construction due diligence process and completely different process when you're doing just a straight out purchase of a piece of land or a house. Due diligence happens in one shot, it's done, promise of sale, money is exchanged, title is exchanged, you're done. Pre-construction is a little more elaborate. That's where it's even more so critical to engage Vladimir. Typically where I'm engaging you in that process, depending on the developer I'm working with and my comfort level with them, is at the promise of sale stage. I do work with the biggest and the best developers in town. So
never ever sign a promise of sale without an attorney reviewing it.
Yes.
Never.
I'm going to go a little deeper. I'm going to say never sign a promise of sale without an attorney that doesn't have the name, that his name doesn't start with a V in front of it. Have you looking at it, because you really have found some really critical things for myself too. And I'm actually in the process of doing a deal with Vladimir right now personally, which is a relatively large deal, and I'm leaning on him to make sure he cross the T's and dots the I's, and he's bringing up things with me that I never ever would have known in this process. So very, very important.
Yeah, but something else you mentioned is it is different when you are going to purchase a property in pre-construction or if it's already built. But the due diligence also changes depending on the kind of property that you are purchasing and who is selling you that property, whether it's a person or a company. In principle, let's say that we have an apartment that is built or a house. It's there, you're gonna buy it. There are two major things that we have to do in principle. One is to request a certificate from the title registrar's office.
How long does that take?
48 hours.
About 48 hours.
48 hours. They usually promise it for 15 days, but there's a way to request it like VIP. You pay a little tax extra and you get it much faster.
I think the 95 years being in business helps you out with that one a little bit. Yeah.
So what we do is perform the due diligence in the title registrar's office in order to obtain a certificate that will tell us whether there are some liens, litigations, mortgages, or any other kind of third party rights record in the property title. If there are, we're going to see them there. If there are not, the certificate will state that the property is free of mortgages, and that as a result you can buy it.
Perfect.
So the other part is to perform the tax due diligence, which we do in the tax authority.
This is part number 3 that we're talking about in this section.
The DGII, which is obtaining another certificate which would tell us if the seller, whether it's a person or a company, owns any taxes to the government. And if they do, the certificate will say it. If they don't, the certificate will say it as well. So these are basically the two most important things that you do in the average deal.
Run me through a scenario of both of those situations. Taxes is not owed, pretty straightforward. You proceed to closing, right? Mm-hmm. That's not complex. When taxes are owed, how is that usually handled? What are the different avenues that you go down at that point?
Yeah, because finding something out does not necessarily kills the deal.
Exactly.
Because
we had
in a lot of situations we have found out like someone owes taxes to the government.
Usually in single family, not in the pre-construction.
So what do? We contact the lawyer of the representative of the seller or the seller himself to say, look, according as per our due diligence, we have verified that you own this to the government. You have to pay this in order that we could close the deal.
Correct.
They do, and after they do, then we do request the certificate again.
Of course.
And if everything is okay, they will issue the certificate, no taxes to pay, and then they will close.
Give me a rough example time frame on that. You find out taxes are owed because of your due diligence on the taxes. How long, typically, assuming communication happens quick, how long is it taking to pay the taxes? Can they pay that
immediately?
One day? Oh, it can be paid immediately?
Yeah.
You receive registration right away and it's done,
yeah.
So within 48 hours?
It's something that even the seller could do online.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah,
so it doesn't postpone a deal indefinitely or for a long time?
Yeah, but there is another thing that is different. Because if it's something that is on the title, we spoke about the taxes, but if we find out that there is a litigation or a mortgage on the title, that's another thing. I have been in the situation with clients that come to me that want to buy a property. We request the certificate of the legal status certificate and find out that there is a litigation or a mortgage. But again, that does not necessarily kill the deal. We have to investigate what is that. Because in many cases, we have checked that what is in the title is a mortgage that was already paid to the bank.
Just wasn't
and
registered.
The seller never canceled it from the title. And they do have the documents to do it. So finding out something like that, that's not necessarily...
Now the mortgage typically in Las Terrenas, the Dominican Republic, can be with a bank or with an individual or with a corporation?
As you wish.
As you wish, okay. So just like Canada in that regard.
Exactly. So no difference in...
And it gets registered with the title office and everything is documented.
Indeed. Okay. So we have closed a lot of transactions like that we find out something while we are performing the due diligence. We work with the seller to fix it, to make the transaction safe for both parties, especially for the buyers, and then we close.
Got it.
And I could even mention one particular case to send a hello to him, to Mr. Joseph, who bought with a beautiful property in
Las Nomadas.
In Los Nomadas, a fantastic property. We figured out some issues in the due diligence, work with the seller to fix them. We did, and we closed the transaction.
Joseph, it's a big shout out to you. Congratulations, because like Vladimir saying, you did go through this exact situation. There was some taxes owed. The seller ended up going and paying the taxes, and everything worked out fine. I believe you might be coming here the next week or so with his parents, and you bought the house for your parents. So big shout out to you. Congratulations, and you're living proof of how due diligence.
I know he will see this. He watches all our videos and always comments.
Big
shout out to you, Joseph. We're looking forward to seeing you.
And congratulations.
So, and that deal was closed because of that, because of the good faith, both parties working.
The deal was closed safely.
Yeah.
Thanks to your due diligence.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Because we figured out what we needed to be fixed in the due diligence, and also the seller cooperated a lot in order to fix it.
You know what?
But again, that is in the case that we find out something that the seller is willing to fix. Because sometimes we might figure out something that doesn't show good faith on the seller, or something that that's
for a seller being a company or a person
cannot be fixed or whatever. The very first thing I'm going to say in that situation is I'm going to call KASH. I'm going to call you and say, look, I highly recommend you not to purchase this property because this, and this, and we have to look KASH. Let's look for something else for them.
Yes, which we've done numerous times as well.
That is something that could happen and prevents you to going into a risky deal and wasting time, money, and effort. So if I am in a situation that I have to say that, I would say with no problem because
likewise,
my main work as your attorney in the deal is to make sure not that you have a purchase, that you have a safe purchase. So it's either a safe purchase or no purchase.
Now he's hitting on something really important here, and I think it's noteworthy. Anybody with or without credentials can perform a closing. Somebody can bring you a piece of paper and make you sign it and put a date on it and say you've closed on a property. So you need to be very cautious. A big difference between closing on a property and securely and safely closing on a property. You ensure the safe and secure element of it. The closing anybody in the world can do, and that's where people run into problems. They assume they're making a safe closing because they're doing a closing. The safety and security comes from 95 years, okay? Because you guys are held to a certain standard.
Yeah. So thank God that doesn't happen very often. Usually the transactions are closed very, it's a very smooth process.
Correct.
As Terrenas is a small town, we know everyone and everything. This is a big firm in a small country, and we are somehow related with most of the developers here. So we know in advance if we expect something to have any issues or not. If there are, which is 2-3% of the cases, and in the situation that it happens, we will work to fix it. If not, we will tell you not to purchase it, to look for something else. So you should never ever worry about whether you are doing something crazy or not that will make you lose our investment, because our job is to secure you don't.
Correct.
So something else I wanted to mention about the due diligence, because usually the two most important things are the taxes and the verifications on the title. But also there are other things that you have to consider in the due diligence depending on the kind of deal that you're making. Because if, for example, you're purchasing from a corporation, you have to make sure that they don't owe any taxes on the property, but also that the company, the company that is selling is up to date in all their annual declarations and doesn't owe taxes not only about properties but of any other thing to the seller, because otherwise they will not be able to sell. If the company has not presented the yearly tax declaration or whatever, then the government will not allow them to take assets out of the company to sell it to something else, because that is how they guarantee that they will pay.
Completely.
So if the seller it's a company, then that adds a little bit more of work to the due diligence, and also not only the fact of the kind of whether you're buying from a person or a company, it changes things, but also there are things that change depending on the kind of property that you're purchasing. Because if, for example, you're purchasing a land or a house, all you have to make sure is that the seller is up to date on the payment of the services of the house. Let's say the electricity bill, if they have any employees or something. But if, for example, you're purchasing a condo or a house that is part of a residential and they have, for example, the condo fees, we will also have to make sure of that as well. If it is a land or a house, you don't have to do that. But if you're purchasing a condo, then as part of our due diligence, we have to make sure that not only all the invoices of the property are paid, such as the electricity bill, water, internet, employees, etc., but also to make sure that the condo fees are paid until the date of the closing.
Whoever's responsible for that at that point needs to take care of that. Correct.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things, and I think you guys are probably finding some comfort in that, and you understand why I personally, as I tell you guys all the time, I'm not just a broker here selling real estate to you guys. I'm also an investor. I bought numerous properties. I've sold properties now personally. You'll notice that the system here is very similar to what we are used to in Canada and the US. So if taxes aren't paid, that money has to be paid before title can switch hands. So when you're a buyer, you can be assured when that title is switching hands that taxes are going to have to be paid. Vlad is going to find that stuff in advance. The other thing, as you're discussing all the work that can go into some deals are a little bit easier than other deals. That's always the goal, but some are complex. The benefit with you guys and your fees that I've seen is that it's an all-inclusive fee. So when you are charging that is all-inclusive. It covers everything. The only thing that is something that has to be additional because it's handled in a different regard is the translation of the contract. It's not.
But we're going to discuss that because we have, I think, another video with the cost related.
Correct.
We're going to go that in a future
more
video.
Detail. Yeah, that's going to be is going to be part 9. Correct. He's got it memorized already. Okay, so guys, as you can see, with the due diligence, it is very detailed. It is each step of the way we're crossing the T's, or they're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. We're specifically with my company, we're only getting you exposure to developers and properties that we believe in, that I'm getting a nod of approval from my colleagues. Guzman Ariza being one of them. So we're bringing you the right properties so you're not wasting time and effort. However, you never know what's in the closet. These guys will open up that closet door and dig deep for you. Okay, so on the due diligence, one quick question. What are the, in closing here, I want to go over a few of the, what were the items we touched upon? So I know you guys are making notes out there. We touched on taxes for due diligence.
Title verification.
We touched on title verification for due diligence.
The invoices of the property.
And the expenses.
The expenses to make sure also the condo fees if it's a part of a condominium.
Okay. Mortgages?
But that is part of the title verification process.
Okay, thank you.
To see if there are litigations or not. So, but something else I do want to mention.
Okay, perfect.
Before ending the video is that here we put, we try to give you a content of the most important things and the crucial aspect of the deals. But due diligence, we could make a docu-series only of the due diligence because here we wanted to bring something that will be useful for
as a resource
95% of you, but we know that there are a lot of things that for reasons of time we're not going to be discussing in this video. And just to mention an example, KASH specializes in pre-construction, but he sells anything, land, a house, or whatever. But if, for example, you're purchasing a land, let's say,
and you want to be a
developer.
Got it. You want to purchase land to build.
That is not the majority of you, but there are some of you who are probably.
And I have clients asking me about that.
There are things that we have to make sure as well. For example, the very first thing we do in that particular case is to hire a surveyor and to make sure that the slender, the survey of the property is correct, and that it is not overlap with adjacent properties.
Perfect.
You see? But also, if you are a developer, there are a lot of things that you need to figure out, because as you know, we are very close to the beach, and it's not that hard here to get the permits, but there are restrictions on the amount of units or rooms that you can develop on a land. And for you,
can you apply for permits with a promise of sale?
Yes, you can.
If you're building a single family home?
Yes, of course you can. I've
been asked that question from a client and friend.
You can. And if it is for a condo, for example, you do it, they give you a provisional building license to start building, and then they give you the final one when you get the title at your name. So it is totally possible. And about that, like I was saying, the due diligence goes above the legal aspects when you're purchasing a land with the purpose of developing it, because you have to also make sure that this land is useful for you to build the amount of units that you want to build.
You'll hear the term density.
The density and all those stuff. So that is a whole different story that will require a much deeper due diligence. And like I said, we could talk for hours about that.
I think we might have to make this an addendum to one of these topics here, and I'll make a note, but I think we should touch on this and just kind of a quick list of these are the things you need to consider when you are doing a development.
And also we can
if you guys want us to do that, actually leave some comments below.
Exactly. That is exactly what I was going to say. That if someone is interested,
let us know if you want that.
Let us know in the comments what are the questions that you may have, or if someone would like to have a consultation about that aspect or any other aspect that we have spoken here in the video. Reach out to us, comment below, and let us know. We're willing to help you.
Correct.
And that first consultation for you and all the clients that are coming from KASH is going to be absolutely free.
Yeah, guys, that's an important element too. All my clients, and I really appreciate this, they offer a free consultation. So when you guys come down to see me, I always encourage you to see me first. Main reason is I look at Las Terrenas different than a lot of other people. I look at it as a broker and as an investor, but I'm also looking at it for your benefit when you're buying property. So I'm able to kind of show you Las Terrenas from my lens, and that helps a lot of my clients. Before, as soon as you get here, reach out to me. One of the things I'm going to do when you do reach out is I'm going to try to get you in for an appointment with Vladimir. I'll join you if you want me to, and we can sit down and he'll kind of run you through a bird's eye view kind of this whole docuseries.
Yeah, like the idea is that until you know for a fact that you're going to pull the trigger with a unit, you don't necessarily have to feel that to get some advice you have to start spending money.
Yes.
So for any of you that would like to have a free consultation, either now commenting below and requesting it, a phone call or something, you can do it, or when you come here to see your property. And then when you feel sure about what you're going to do, pull the trigger to purchase the unit, then we formalize a relationship through an engagement letter and we go from there.
Are you okay with, if you guys leave a comment, of course, but if you want to, send me a WhatsApp. I'll create a group chat. We'll chat with Vlad and we can get a little bit of dialogue, some questions going if that's okay with you.
Of course, it is.
Perfect. Okay, so guys, what we did here today in part 3 is we covered all elements of performing the due diligence. What is it that Vladimir Alonso is going to be doing for you when he does that? He's done a great job of explaining that to everyone and myself, kind of reiterating all those facts. If you guys have any questions, comments below, okay, and send me a direct WhatsApp, 1519-567-1785. I will link you with my friend here, Vladimir, okay? The next part, stay tuned for it. That'll be coming up soon. We're going to be covering how to buy property without stepping foot in the Dominican Republic.
Indeed.
I have
because some of you have done it.
Many of my clients have done it.
Yeah,
yes,
many of you, because the way, some of you could see that the way KASH does the videos is, for example, he goes in his squad all the way to the property in order that you get kind of a feeling of how it's going to be. Make the drone video, send you all the rendering of or anything, and believe it or not, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of people who have purchased their unit without being here in Las Terrenas.
Yeah.
So is that possible? Yes, it is, and we're going to explain that in the next video. There's actually, KASH has referred a lot of clients to me. A lot of you seeing these videos can tell that we have been working, but like half of you, I have not seen it in person yet.
Yeah, no, for sure. And
I
guys,
will eventually, but
there's a reason for it. There's people have faith in what I'm delivering, and they have faith in me as with my the knowledge of the market and the transparency that I offer. And you know that I'm going to do something only if I agree with it. And he's seen me not do things that have costed me money in the past, but because I didn't ethically agree with it, I didn't do it. So that's one thing, but guys, understand you can buy without being here. I will connect you with Vladimir, and the reason people are doing that is because their Las Terrenas is growing. I'm gonna be doing a video here very shortly explaining why I believe Las Terrenas is not a bubble. You should watch that video too, and I think it's...
I watch every video you upload.
One of my biggest fans. No, I'm gonna be putting that video out there, and that's why people are doing it, because there's opportunity here, opportunity that exists here. It doesn't exist the same way in Canada and the US. France, all these first world countries that we claim are first world do not have the opportunities that you have here in this country right now. Indeed. I like to say, right now, the Dominican Republic is the 1970s in Canada. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very nice place to invest. If you can do some research to see how our economy has been doing
10% GDP growth
in the last 2 decades. We are very solid, and among other reasons is because we have a lot of legal security. Our economy is solid. it's a fantastic place.
Great place to do
invest
business.
in actually the largest economy in the Caribbean. Not every country in Latin America is doing good right now in terms of the inflation and the impact of COVID hitting them really, really hard.
Real estate is not booming.
The DR is fantastic. I saw yesterday in the website of the Ministry of Tourism that we had close to 700,000 people that came here in June.
In June alone.
In June, which is in principle part of the low season.
It is a low season, yeah.
But that is the most tourists that we have received here in a month of June ever. Almost a million in June. So
guys, if
we're very optimistic about how bright the future is.
If you're thinking about investing and buying property, many of my clients are buying property, they're going to rent it Airbnb, and then they're you're going to enjoy the appreciation, and you're going to rent like crazy.
Low season, but everything is full.
It's full. No, totally. Okay, guys, so we could sit here and talk for hours and hours, but we are going to save this for part 4. Okay, so again, thanks for subscribing, thanks for sharing, thanks for watching. Click that notification button so when we do pop up the next video or any of these properties that I'm putting up or any insight that I have, you're first to know. Okay, because very often I put my properties up and my subscribers are first to know, they're first to buy, and there's a competitive advantage that you have. So thanks again, and remember guys, like, subscribe, and share, and the most important thing out of all of this, which you already do and I do, love where you live. Life is too short, and you must remember that. Kind of make that your cornerstone. Love where you live.
Thank you very much for following this docuseries. The previous 2 won't have a lot of views. It seems like you guys are loving it, and we are doing a big effort for delivering the best possible content for you and the most informative content for you. Thanks for following us. Like Kash says, like, subscribe, and share this with all your friends, and we will see you in part 4.
And part 4. And once again, congratulations on 95 years.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Right. See you all.
Thanks, guys. Hey guys, how's it going? Kash here, President and CEO of realestateandlossterrenas.com. Thanks for joining us for this video. I really appreciate you spending the time here. Remember, guys, there's tons and tons of info on our YouTube channel, on our website. Whatever you're looking for, we have it here. And if we don't, please reach out to us, send us a comment, and we will get that information on our channel. Remember, please like, subscribe, and share. You never know when you liking, subscribing, or sharing this content sparks an evolution in somebody's life, and they realize something that they thought was not possible is. All right, guys, so remember, thanks again, and life is short, so love where you live. If you don't already, then it's time for you to hop on a plane and come and see us in Los Terrenas. Talk to you soon.